Okay, thank you so much. I won't be long. I just want to obviously rebut the Nigerian alien that was here. So it obviously made a lot of baseless statements, baseless emotional statements, one might add. And you can understand why, because Nigeria basically breaks you psychologically. These people are speaking from a position of poverty. The white men lied to them, told them they're a giant of Africa. And so they have this ego without anything to back it up with, which is why they're trying to live in other countries so desperately. I mean, their president doesn't live in their country, he doesn't live there. So if the president of a nation himself does not reside within that nation, is basically working remotely, he's running the country remotely, you cannot expect anything sensible from such an individual. So Nigerian men in particular, these are the weakest, lowest testosterone men on the continent, in the sense that they are literally burdening the whole continent and the world beyond, with their parasitic migration. There was an incident where in the UAE, two Nigerians were caught and apprehended by the UAE authorities because they were trying to cosplay as Arab women. So they wore hijabs and hid their faces, painted their faces, thinking they won't be caught. And recently they were also caught in the UK pretending to be sheep, literally with sheep skins around their bodies to basically get into those nations. So when you speak to Nigerians, you are talking to a broken people, psychologically, mentally, and otherwise. And we know that 60% of them suffer from mental illness. And you could see the way that, Aisho Speed really revealed the shame that Nigeria is when he visited Africa recently, because when he went there, they started begging him for money. They almost ate him. So you cannot take anything sensible from a Nigerian. But I want to say this, it's interesting, this contradiction. So he just gave us figures of South Africans who live abroad, but the same people come here and tell us that South Africans don't travel. And I want to make it abundantly clear. When you talk about, they always talk about South Africans that reside in the UK, that reside in the United States, Switzerland, Australia, and everywhere. Those are not your countries. You are not in a position to speak for them. You are from a dirty slum in Makoko. You cannot dictate upon the people of America what they should do with those South Africans. And it's a false equivalence, because South Africans abroad are legal, they are documented, they are admitted through formal systems, and they are not entering those countries bypassing immigration laws. And they certainly don't overwhelm public services in those countries. That is a difference. So stop this low IQ talking point. And also what they refuse to
Besides, the
understand.
interview today wasn't about, and besides this, the interview today wasn't about South Africans living abroad. It was to address the video that went viral with Sir Trevor and Queen Victoria about
Absolutely.
the Ghanaian foreign national that was not legal in the country, but their president says he was, but we know he wasn't. But let's cross over to Jacinta. She's here. Welcome.
Okay. Although I wanted, I'll come in after Jacinta.
No,
It's
you can
okay.
wrap up, Stigma. It's okay. I'll wait.
Wrap up.
Okay.
Actually, I wanted to come in so you can give more time to our queen here from KZN. Host, when people go through challenges, and we as South Africans actually thought these people are victims. We thought they come from poverty and persecution. We didn't understand. And when you now look at where they come from, you understand why. Joburg looks like this. You understand why Kempton Park looked like this. You understand why Hillbrow, Berea, Yeovil, Rosetton. You understand, because when you look at their countries, you now understand why their countries look like this. They broke their countries. It's not like they do better. They want an environment that looks like their countries. Piss, poop on the street, crime, poverty, tribalism, and so on. Now, we're not moved by being called xenophobic and many of these things. Host, right now, South African government gives aid to Zimbabwe, over 50 million. rands to Zimbabwe in aid. It gives aid to Cuba. It gives aid to Congo. It gives aid to Sudan. It gives aid to many African countries, meaning we've got a government that is pan-Africanist, that is a government that actually think these people are victims. And to realize as well that South Africa is the only Pan-Africanist country. When you remember Ramaphosa actually saying that we need Nigerian products on our shelves. And right now, Nigeria is actually boycotting South African products, saying that they need to manufacture these products from within. So you see, this Pan-African ideology is only from South Africa and never from these African countries. That's why you'll find there's nothing Ghana actually gives to South Africa, but we actually have over 100 billion rands invested in Ghana. Now, another point I want to make is, if you remember in the year 2000, when our soldiers were sent to Mozambique when a woman gave birth on a tree, our soldiers have been to Congo when we have Congolese men having their testicles bask in the South African sun, doing nails in our streets. When our men died in the lands of Congo, died on the soil of Congo, dying for Congolese, because their men have fled their responsibility, their godly duty. Our men have died in CRR. Our soldiers have been sent to Nigeria. They've pushed back on Boko Haram. Our men have also been sent to Sudan. Our men have been to Burundi. Our men have been to Mozambique. In the year 2000, when they were having the floods and they evacuated Mozambicans. Our men were also in Mozambique in 2018 fighting ISIS. Our men have also been in Mozambique just this alone in January when they were having floods. Our men have been all over this continent on peacekeeping missions, meaning South Africans are the only nation that cares for this continent. Other Africans don't care about this continent. That's why you will find these Africans losing their mind when an African dies in South Africa, when we do realize that we have a crime problem. But when an African dies at the hand of another African in their countries, look at Boko Haram. One Nigerian will die in South Africa and will wake up Boko Haram, killing 3,000 Nigerians in a day, and no one will hold alive, open a space and talk about it. The fact of the matter is Stana might win at the hearts of Nigerians online, but on the ground, South Africans will stay winning. Sizoni Bonya. We will beat you.
Thank you so
till
much.
you go through the border.
Thank you so much,
Asidlali nani
Dudula Khulu.
sizonishaya manje, asadlali nani asakhuluma
Thank you
manje.
so much.
Shayani lezinja.